Hey guys, Vina here. I know it's been a couple days, and after the Zelensky video, I hadn't really been led to do another one until today. So I got so much information to share and stuff to share. I do want to go into what I term spiritual mode at the end. And the only reason I do it at the end is because I'm not coming out of it. I'm not going to come out of it and cover the mundane stuff. Um, I know everybody is probably on like a seesaw right now, a lot of things going on. Um, and although it's pretty effed up um, in one sense, but in another sense, it's kind of moving things to where they need to be, even if it's done by not too good people and what they're doing is not that good. But everything eventually aligns the way it's supposed to be. And we know that because why? Because Don the Con, EM, our Congress people, whatever, they are not in charge, not in the real sense of things. They're they seemingly are leaders or controlling this and controlling that. But the reality is nothing happens without, shall I say, spiritual approval. Okay? All the energies that are going out now, all the behind the scenes patterns of things that are going on, okay, they are designed to move us to a certain place where we need to be. So, what the universe does, it uses the puppets to get us there, okay? Don the Con is one puppet. EM is another puppet. Congress people are other puppets. It's just sort of like in our life when we're supposed to go in one direction and we're not quite going there. Okay? So the universe uses people in our lives to kind of prompt that, to kind of prompt those changes where we are designated to be, right? So for instance, a while ago, I gave you guys an example of the horrific health issue I dealt with years ago, where I had like five back to back to back to back to back operations, right? Prompted by one particular doctor. Um, yeah, she effed up and etc. But she was just the puppet that the universe needed to get me to where I needed to be over here. Okay? So just like the universe is using these clowns, and they are clowns, don't get me wrong, they're clowns, and their motives aren't good, and they think they're directing things, and they're really not. Okay? Nothing and no one on this earth can override the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm is this realm. It is in charge. It calls the shots. And it calls the shots, like I've told you guys, not only in my books, but in these videos. It calls the shots in ways that we can comprehend, that are observable for us. Okay? And that's how it makes its move, so to speak. Okay, it uses different props, um, different people, different circumstances. It uses all of that to make the moves that need to be. So, um, I was given an interview by Jeff Mara, and a lot of you know me from Jeff Mara. He's a great interviewer. He does a lot of paranormal stuff, near death experiences, UFOs, all the stuff that's out there on the fringe, shall we say. But anyway, he contacted me to interview me about my near death experience, and at one point during the experience, and I have that interview, by the way, on my channel. I have a playlist of called interviews, and that's on there. But anyway, at one point during the interview, he said, "You know, a lot of people say this is we're in a matrix, and none of this is real." And my response to him was, "It's a real play." And it is real. It's real to us in this dimension, but it's a play. And I wish that everyone could see how the universe orchestrates everything in every way it does with love, divine love. Okay? I just wish you could all see how I saw it, and that's why I try so hard to make you see and understand kind of what's going on back behind the scenes. And I'm sorry, I definitely got off on a tangent. I went into spiritual mode early, and I will go on spiritual mode at the end. But let's get going on these predictions, and I've got a lot. Now, for the recaps, I told you guys I was given the prediction that Europe would definitely step in big time and help out Ukraine. That White House fiasco was the vehicle, the vessel that did that. Okay? It was part of the play to get to where Ukraine had more stronger support besides the United States. It's almost like, okay, Don the Khan's not going to help. Psh, no problem. All these other nations stepped up, including Turkey, which is very important. And if you don't know the deal behind Turkey, please Google it, because it is extremely important that they stepped up like they did. Okay? I told you guys another recap. I predicted, I guess, the February 22nd video. Before the White House thing, I predicted a rough time for Zelensky. I saw just not good energy around him. Well, that fiasco at the White House, certainly, that came true. And I've always said that Ukraine has already won the war. They've already won the war. Okay? I've said that from the very beginning. They won. When this started, I said they won. And 3 years later, Russia hasn't gotten squat what it's won, but it's had a ton of losses. Okay? Okay, another prediction I gave, and a lot of you were like, why didn't you say this in the Zelensky video? So, I was given a prediction of a bunch of white men in a room, and they were having this meeting, a bunch of them, and it was all like politicians in this meeting, and it just wasn't good. And I thought that it was going to be like they were meeting against Trump. Well, it turns out it was this meeting with Zelensky. All white men in a room surrounding someone, and turns out it was Zelensky. So that was another. My Norway prediction. Came true. Um, and when I say I want to clarify, it's not my predictions. These are what I'm given, okay? What I'm given, what I'm picking up, but mostly what I'm given. The Norway prediction came true. I said that they would be watch out for Norway. They would be very strong and firm in something that they did regarding the United States. And sure enough, not even a week later, they stopped supplying our ships with oil. They're refusing to. And it got to so bad that one of the nuclear submarines had to actually turn around and come back to its original port because they were running out of fuel, and Norway just firmly refused to supply them. And they were almost begging Norway, look, we're going to be stuck. And Norway's like, nope, we're not doing it. Nope, 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 nope. So good for Norway. Um, so that's kind of, well, no. I keep telling you guys the enemy of our enemy is going to be our friend. More and more Republican politicians are stepping up now and talking about they're going against the tide, they're going against Trump, saying, look, we got to support Ukraine. Russia is the enemy. 4 different Republican congressmen came out last week and said that, bucking the tide, and it's going to be more and more. That is going to increase. So, here we go. As for the predictions, I was given a new date, okay? We're all on the lookout for March the 8th, okay? I gave that. March the 8th, I got 308 back the day before the election in November. So we're all still waiting for 308 to see what happens, if anything. A lot of people hit off my number after I gave it. Good for you guys, but we're still waiting on that. But the next set of dates I was given was March 26th through the 29th. Major dates. I've been warning you guys about the stock market and crypto. No, 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 no. I've been saying that now since early December. Okay? Don the Con has now started up this strategic crypto reserve. And it's basically a cash in for his rich buddies. So his rich buddies are going into it, and then they're able to cash out through government funds, billions. So by the time you get into it, there will be nothing in it for regular people. Please do not. Crypto right now, just think of it as NA. No, 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 no. The stock market, I've been telling you guys that's a downer. Please be extremely conservative with your investments. If you invest at all, I guess with it going down, crashing yesterday again, probably is a good time if you're going to buy stuff, but plan on keeping it a while because it's just, here's another prediction. We are definitely headed for a flatlining of this economy. They're showing me a flatlining. I am interpreting it as a recession. Okay? I do not see a depression, but I definitely see a recession. There's going to be too many hits that this economy takes right now. Someone asked me about buying a home. My advice, what I get intuitively, wait until the summer when prices go down even more. It looks like they will just kind of bottom out sort of like late summer, August, and then go for it. Go for it. This is not a seller's market. But if you're looking to buy, I would say patiently wait. if you can, until about August. You will get the absolute best prices you could possibly get because things will start ticking back a little bit. Um, there is going to be two big shockers this month. And I've talked about one of them forever, and it's about Don the Con. Um, but I will say this. A lot of you are worried that if something happens with Don the Con, you're worried about JD Vance. So I have been getting on JD Vance for a little while now. He is going to be there is going to be a super concern about his immediate family. And it's going to pull his attention. He almost may have to, I don't know if you can resign from being VP, but it will almost be at that point there will be a super family concern for him and will leave him very confused, very scatter-minded. He won't be able to govern like he would like to. As far as EM, and I just want to puke. I've told you guys since probably before the election last year, he is very sick. Mentally and physically. Been telling you that. Well, we found out how mentally sick he really is. But physically, there is an issue, and it's going to be quite an impediment by the time the summer hits. And also, there is an issue with him being in a foreign country and either charges being against him or him not being able to get out or something happening with him in a foreign country. That's what I see. And it looks like it's one of probably the European countries. And by the way, a little side note, thank you to each and every one of you that always inform me when one of my predictions come true. I really appreciate that. You don't know how much I appreciate that because I don't know everything all at once to be checking everywhere. And a lot of the predictions that I've given and that have come true, you guys are on it. Like, you're on it. Like, oh my God, I love it. Like, you're on it. So I appreciate that. But anyway, so he is going to have problems, not only physically, but it looks like with some foreign country. And it's going to be a little tough for him. And speaking of foreigners, someone asked me about the Tate brothers. I don't know too much about them. I think they're twins, and they're Romanian, and they're like not good guys. Like, they've done a lot of stuff. And when I saw them, I was given the flash or the image of one light and one dark. One of those brothers is redeemable somehow, even though they've done some really bad stuff. One is not, but also the darkness, it also indicated to me that not only is he not redeemable, but he may not be around at some point. So, but it's definitely one light, one dark, and the dark just was out the picture. And it's just only one left. Okay? So we will see what happens with that. Oh, another major prediction I saw, and I'm seeing a lot of these people that have been let go and laid off from the federal government will be brought back. There will be a special program initiated by Congress, and there will be like a process for them to get their jobs back, to come back. A lot will be brought back. Okay? And I see this happening like late summer, early fall. Um, there'll be too much of a bleed, and even Congress will kind of finally step in and be like, And I've already told you guys about the town halls. I made a prediction that the town halls would be coming to an end, and it looks like they kind of are trying to truly stop a lot of them. But two things: it's not going to stop the people from speaking out, and the second thing is it's not going to. Those politicians heard what they needed to hear, okay, and it frightened them enough, a lot, to the point it was like a shock to their nervous system, and they're doing what they needed to do. The people speaking out, so they had an effect. So eventually, you're going to see more and more people turning against the policies of this administration. Okay. As for Social Security, I still see the Social Security benefits in a bubble. They're still in this bubble. I know that there's talk of letting go Social Security personnel, but the benefits I still see in a bubble protected. And even there's talk of people, because of the cuts that they're making to the personnel, people may not get their checks, but that's going to happen. They are going to get their checks. I just see the benefits in a bubble protected. So I know that's such a big concern. I do not collect it myself, but I know that so many people are dependent on their checks. But trust me when I tell you, those checks, the benefits are in a bubble right now, and they still are, and they're not out of that bubble yet. But I think as time goes on, with events that will happen in the actual White House, and then the people just really rising up in mass, things are going to be changing big time. Big time. Okay? It was almost like wham bam right from the beginning. And, the bombs were just dropped. And then now the smoke is clearing, settling, and we're seeing, the effects. And it's going to be different than the initial bomb drop. China. There's something I'm getting about China, and either a huge white structure or dam or something huge and white, and it's like that's being revealed to the world. That one I really tried to get more clarity on, but I just can't yet, and I'm trying. I can't force it. So I'm just going to have to let that unfold more. But I know that it's something white and it's huge, and it's either a dam or a building or something that they invented and will reveal, or something like that. So that's one. Fortunately, somebody will remember that. Thank you guys. Like I said, I do want to say part of the things are going to be like easing up and changing and not so whatever. I want to tell you guys, several countries are canceling the Musk Starlink. Um, and not only countries, but Mexico billionaire Carlos Sims, he also had a huge contract with Starlink and he canceled it. Okay? And now there are actually demonstrations around the world against EM. Not just here, but around the world. So, when these things happen, they don't just like happen and then just stop. They have effects, okay? So, uh oh, one other thing, the right to work, which was the Republican scam to make workers think they had rights, which in reality it took away their rights. That was voted down in very red Montana. Okay? So think about that. Everywhere right to work is in a red state. It has always been voted in. It's the first time it was voted down in a red state. It's always been voted down in the blue states. But in a very red state, they voted it down. People are waking up. And I told you guys they would. Told you guys last year it will get to the point where the Republican Party of today will be dead. It will die a very painful death because of the fact that people are waking up to the horrific policies of the Republican Party. They're just no good for anyone. Their entire platform is just to help the rich. And it, like, you just can't. And they've gaslighted people so much. Fortunately, not everyone is fooled by their gaslighting. But the ones that have been are waking up because it's actually affecting them. And sadly, that's the only way some people can ever wake up is when it actually affects them. I know, it's sad. Like I said earlier, I don't collect Social Security, but I don't want to see not one person lose Social Security, their benefits. Okay? I understand the toll it would take. It's called empathy. It's called caring. It's called giving a S-H. Okay? We're all in this together, believe it or not. We're all in this together. We really are. And that's what a lot of people need to wake up to. Fortunately, Pluto now being in Aquarius for the next 18 years is going to bring us to that realization because Aquarius is community. Okay? Aquarius is humanitarian, amongst other things. We're going to have a lot of high-tech inventions. Our lives, our day-to-day lives and how we do things will be much more techy, okay? But this is the age that we're coming into now. And this is where we need to be. We tried the selfish everybody for themselves thing. It didn't work for anyone. Not even the self. We are all in this together. We are one big community. We are literally family. Literally. So that's where all of this is getting us to. Although all that DM and EM, Don the Con and EM and these Republicans are doing, although all of it is horrific and just yuck, it is making society realize we don't want that stuff no more. No. Doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Okay, I believe I covered everything. I'm so proud of me because I had so much stuff on here. All right. One thing I want to talk about before I go quickly into spiritual mode is Venus is now retrograde. Venus will be retrograde until April. You know, I only mention stuff astrologically when it affects everyone and when it is going to affect you personally. Here's the thing. Two major things that you need to realize. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, relationships, amongst a few other things. So two things. Venus in retrograde mode. It is very possible that an old love, flame, whatever, could try to come back into your life. Or you may try to hook up with someone from your past. Okay? Here's the thing. It will seem like, oh my God, this is so awesome, so great, blah, blah, for about a month. And then once she goes direct, the true ugly story will come out, will be revealed. And you'll be like, oh, I know why I broke up with them, or I know why we're not together. Okay? So please keep that in mind. Okay? If you're looking for someone and that ex tries to come back into your life, I certainly am not going to tell you what to do, but I will tell you this. In approximately a month, you will come to the realization that, I shouldn't have. I know why we broke up. All right? So you might want to think about that. The second thing, if you are thinking of making any major purchase to beautify something, now is not the time. For some reason, once it goes retrograde, you'll either hate it or you'll realize you could have gotten it so much cheaper, or it's just not the right thing and you've wasted so much money. Also, anything cosmetic, this is never, ever, ever get any type of cosmetic surgery during a Venus retrograde. So for the next month, please don't try to do your eyes or your lips or your wrinkles or whatever. I wouldn't even do a major haircut now. Seriously. Okay? Not a major one. I mean, if you need a trim or whatever, fine. But no major changes to your beauty, and definitely no surgery cosmetically. It will have to be redone. Okay? It will just have to be redone. So, we've got other aspects going on now, but that is a very major one, and it affects us individually. And now is not the time, like I said, for major luxury purchases. Definitely no on the cosmetic surgery. And last but definitely not least, that ex that tries to come back in, realize they're an ex for a reason. All right? Okay. So the last thing I want to talk about is, it is so important, that people realize how divine love is literally at your fingertips. It can be used, not used, but it can be applied. Just the knowledge of knowing that it's always there, always present, that can be applied to any situation in your life. You don't need any so-called spells, magic tricks. We have made things so complicated. And some leaders of the church, even some leaders of governments, want you to feel like you have to either go through them to get some kind of special, I don't know, whatever's, favors from the universe, or do certain rituals, none of that. You don't need to do any of that. You don't need to wear certain things. You don't need to um, recite certain prayers. You don't need to do anything. Love, divine love, is always at your fingertips. It's actually closer than that because you are in essence. But when you acknowledge the essence of divine love, that pure, perfect, harmonious energy that pulses throughout everything, okay? When you acknowledge that, you're already one step into realizing and utilizing the most powerful force that there is. Did you know, if you elevated your thinking to the point where you just acknowledged divine love and set your mind, set your thought in that acknowledgement of divine love and didn't bring any of those human emotions, any fear to it, any resentment, any whatever, none of those humans emotions, you've aligned yourself already with the only true power that exists. And guess what? Once you've done that, okay, you've already changed your situation. You've already transformed the situation that you are in, okay, into what it truly should be. And from there, the outward automatically will change. Automatically will change because that flowing state of love is always there. But you see, our attention is not there. So just to give you an example, you know I love my cube, my prism cube, okay? Sometimes we become right here, this little block here, right? And we become oblivious to all that truly exists. Okay? We just become oblivious to it. So we're only seeing from one perspective, one channel, one way. But when we release any human attachment and just plop that recognition that we have of divine love being perfect, harmonious, when we plop our understanding in that, guess what? We become aware of everything. And everything opens to us. And the situation outwardly changes, transforms. And yes, it's very difficult to do. In my latest book, The Spiral of Love, I talk about a situation that I had with my father and how it just was not good for the longest period of time. But I finally did with that what I just told you. I put the entire situation I plopped it into divine love, into that harmony, into that perfection that I knew existed. And I let go of any resentment that I had, anger, whatever. And when I started to do that, it helped me let go of that stuff. It helped me. And I told you a lot of times, just when you try, or just when you're willing to even try, the universe will help you. It will carry you on that tidal wave. But you've got to try. You've got to make the effort. But once you try, it will help you. But anyway, it allowed me to release that anger, that resentment, that whatever. And it completely, totally transformed this situation with my father. Okay? And yes, the process can be difficult. It's not the easiest because we have a lot of baggage that we carry, whether it would be a relative or a neighbor, a friend, or whoever. Okay? But if we plop it into that train that's already going of divine love, and if we just get on that train, it will help us do the rest. It really, truly will. Divine love is always at our fingertips, always ready, always available, always there. We just have to acknowledge its presence, its perfection, its perfect harmony. It resonates harmoniously throughout everywhere. We just see one side of the picture, one side of the coin. Okay? Anyway, I think that's about it. I appreciate you guys coming to my channel. I really do. Thanks for all your input, your comments, and everything. And we are going to be in the end okay, but there's going to be changes coming. There's going to be stuff happening. And we're just going to be riding these waves. All right? Okay, guys, take care.